Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow, and got a couple things I want to talk about. One thing that I want to put in your mind is how, when it comes to these enterprise level institutions, these major players in technology and finance, you name it, so many of us seem to have this idea that they're going to adopt technology that we already know and love. And I have some things I want to show you that basically speak to the contrary of that. Also, I will be at Bitcoin 2023, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So for those of you that are around the Miami, Florida area, or you just want to hop on a cheap flight and head over, it's going to be obviously a huge event. I was there last year, and a lot of incredible speakers. Obviously, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I just might have to attend that. Michael Saylor, of course, I've heard everything he has to say, but he's always interesting regardless. A lot of these individuals, Lynn Alden, I've been actually seeing her on quite a bit, popping up on YouTube with some really good stuff. So I might actually check her out. Tickets aren't cheap though, so hopefully you're wealthy. General admission's about $1,000. It's crazy. But this is the grand poobah of Bitcoin conventions. And, obviously, it's a lot of people that you just otherwise wouldn't have access to, that you're likely going to be able to meet, greet, hang out, see, and just listen to live. So if you're interested in this sort of stuff, and you're obviously if you've done well in crypto and you want to meet some of these folks, you want to see them live, this is a really good opportunity to do exactly that. I'm not speaking at this event. I'm just going to go hang out, shake some hands, take some pictures, meet and greet a little bit, and hit up the parties. I know I'm going to one, I think Thursday night. I'm going to go see Cryptos R Us and probably Ben, BitBoy, hang out with those guys for a bit, have some drinks, and see what else is going on. So make sure you check it out, Bitcoin 2023. You can plug it into Google, or there'll be a link in the description below. Now, I'm also going to be talking about Bitcoin, but first I want to address this. Microsoft, Goldman Sachs, and others partner in a new blockchain network. The Canton blockchain network for financial institutions is being launched by Digital Asset and a group of firms, including Microsoft, Goldman, and Deloitte. So this here is obviously a major blow to just about every other cryptocurrency out there. And there's another reason for that, because you can't get this. You're not going to be able to find this anywhere, at least not yet. A new blockchain network aimed at financial institutions is in the works from a conglomerate of participants in the finance and tech space, including the likes of Microsoft and Goldman Sachs. According to the announcement on May 9th, the Canton network will be a privacy-enabled, interoperable blockchain network aimed at those working with institutional assets. This, I need to see proven. I need to see privacy enabled. I need to see that I need somebody to do it. I want to see the audits on this, because I don't personally buy that. It will allow the synchronization of financial markets that were previously siloed. The network will begin testing its capabilities in July, which include extensive privacy controls and the ability to achieve the scale and performance needed by major financial institutions. Participants in the network currently include BNP Paribas, CBO, Global Markets, Digital Asset, Paxos, Microsoft, Goldman Sachs, Deloitte, and others. Kathy Clay, Executive Vice President of CBO Global Markets, one of the partners in the project, said that when leveraged, blockchain technology can potentially unlock new opportunities in the market. I love how these people jump on board and start saying stuff as though we haven't already been saying this for, it seems like a decade now, but some of us just since 2017, like yours truly. Canton is built on DAML, the smart contract language of Digital Asset, which creates an interoperable system where assets, data, and cash can synchronize across linked applications. In March, Kathy Wood's ARK investment bought up around $18 million in Coinbase shares. And this is basically talking about how lucrative, digital assets are and where technology is going. And this is the Canton Network, introducing the Canton Network, the first open blockchain network designed with the control and interoperability needed to power synchronized financial markets. Connect, build, run, and you can click these and it'll take you to different sections. Now, this isn't all about being a deep dive. This is about proving a point and basically making a case to the fact that these major institutions, these, billionaire conglomerates all over the world, we have this idea that, we're waiting for XRP to get out of court so that everybody can start using them for international banking, or even Cardano to some degree. Obviously, I'm a huge Cardano bull, and I think, how many of these companies are going to utilize Cardano for their financial institutions, for their institutional trading, or even potentially remittance and stuff someday? And the answer is, depends on who you're talking about. And it depends on what their I almost said alter ego, whatever their agenda is, right? What exactly is it that they're looking to accomplish? So we can see all of these different companies associated with this, and I'm sure more are going to jump on board. But when big companies like this come and they say, hey, we're building a privacy-enabled network for all of these major whales and all of these big institutions to conduct business, I have to call BS, because I mean, have we seen anything that didn't get like an early hack, something where all of these things are basically, put out on the dark web mysteriously? And I'm not saying this is going to happen to Canton Network. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the damn old smart contract. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is these companies want total and complete control of whatever blockchains they build or utilize for whatever it is that they're doing. So that's the point of that. Now let's look at Bitcoin's price real quick here, because ultimately we're just looking at previous trends, and I haven't even looked at the charts in so long because they just haven't mattered to me very much, to be honest with you. But as you can see, we've got this Gaussian blur on a logarithmic chart on a weekly candle. And what I did was I didn't want to do that. So what I did, what did I do? Okay, there it is. I basically mapped this out a little bit, and I'm gonna pull this out so that we can see previous cycles and kind of what to expect, what we've seen in the past. You can see here, once we've reached different peaks in the market, we've come back down, and then we establish this kind of Gaussian blur, which is ultimately a period of sideways activity in Bitcoin's price. Now, in this market here in 2016, prior to the halving, it was a 406-day period, okay? 406 days in that red Gaussian blur territory before we started to finally move up in price action. We had the halving, and away we went into the new market peak, only to come back down and do a new Gaussian week, which this one only lasted 273 days. And the interesting thing about this is we had a shorter time period of 273 days, and we had a very awkward peak. We had this two-peak market where it was almost like the sentiment was unsure and nobody knew exactly what was coming, right? What's happening from one day to the next? Obviously, yes, I'd like to point out that I called it on that day, on the peak of the market. I called the peak getting on a plane, and I came back that afternoon. I said, this is going to be a two-peak market. And lo and behold, we did. We had a second peak that was higher than the first. And now here we are in this Gaussian blur territory, right? Now, if we were to match it up with 406 days to compete with, or to match up with this period here back in 2015 into 2016, then we are a little ways away, okay? Because we'd be looking at like July. So that means we've got June left, okay? So this here is if I line that up just like that, that's a 406-day period. And I'm not saying that this is going to be identical, okay? I'm just saying that if it were to match the same as the previous cycle to this most recent one, we'd be looking at around July 10th of 2023 before we pull out of this Gaussian cycle and into the green, and we start moving up into the halving, and then away we go into the next peak. Now, if we wanted to, we could say, well, what if this is the end? Where are we at right now? We are at 350 days already. So we're 350 days into this Gaussian territory. And I actually find that quite telling, because we're still much further out than this was in this choppy market. And ultimately, what does this tell me? To me, this is telling me that this is like a stronger, elongated pullback, like a rubber band. It's building up a lot of kinetic energy that I have a feeling, given where everything is in the markets today and everything that's going on with the fears of recession and potentially depression. I doubt we're going to hit a depression. We're going to print enough money, I'm sure, at some point to ensure that doesn't happen. But you never know. And there's all these fears about interest rates, and we have this administration doing all kinds of stuff to try and tax everything they possibly can. I've never seen anything like it. More taxes than I've ever seen just coming out it seems like every day they're trying to take more and more money, and then they're pretending that it's all to basically benefit other people, right? Like, oh no, this is to help your neighbor. This is to help your community. This is to help whatever, low income housing, like, I don't know, whatever it is. But then we look at these Democratic ran cities and they're just wrought with crime and depression and homelessness and all of this stuff. And so you have to wonder, why are they trying to tax us so much when it's obvious that none of these Democratic policies are working in Democratic ran cities? And this isn't me really even trying to be political. It really isn't. It's just it's an observation that anybody paying any attention at all could plainly see. And so when I look at this kind of stuff and I think, why are they trying to take everybody's money? And we have these concentrated efforts to try and get rid of crypto with the Operation Choke Point 2.0 and all of this. It's like they just want everybody to be broke. They want everybody to be poor. And it's I just watched this thing with Michael Francese. I don't remember how to pronounce his last name, but he's an old mob boss. And, he's a smart guy, found God, all that stuff, changed his life. Now he does a YouTube channel. And I just watched him. He was like, back in the day, he's like, all mob guys are Democrat. And Pat was like, "What? You're all Democrat? Why?" He goes, "Because all the Democrats are the easiest to bribe and the easiest to corrupt." And Pat was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "We were all Democrat just by default because those are the people that we always did business with." And it's just like, to hear somebody like that say stuff like that, it's like money talks. And for whatever reason, they want everybody's money. One side wants to reduce taxes, make the government smaller, less controls, less regulation, less garbage, right? And then the other side wants to take everybody's money, wants to expand the government to be as big and controlling as possible. And yet there are so many people that think that that's a good thing because they have these ideas of how, I've seen comments on my Twitter talking about a touch of socialism isn't a bad thing. And it's like, listen, we already have a touch. We already have a touch of socialism. All right. We've got so many different programs that gives us a touch of socialism. And I'm not saying that there's even anything wrong with that. I've been reading up on Marxism, socialism, the ideologies associated with them. And it's funny because so much of what we see in the propaganda today it really is taken right out of a Marxist handbook. And I'm not even exaggerating. You could go read it and learn it yourself. Ultimately though, I feel like there's such divide and there's so little opportunity for any side to engage with the other and have a clear conversation about what's going on and what would actually help people. Not just an idea of what we feel could help people, not based off of some bourgeois ideology that we're being programmed to believe is for the people, but like real hard concrete things. And I always have to ask myself, why is it that, I'm not even going to get that deep because that's not what this is about. Listen, I want everybody to enjoy your weekend. I want you to have a really good time. I believe that the price is we're getting to a point in Bitcoin where, given where we are in a political climate, keep in mind, everything that's happening right now is the exact reason Bitcoin was created. And that's really all there is to it. Everything that came after Bitcoin is just an extension of Bitcoin, in my opinion. Just as I say on Twitter, Bitcoin is king, altcoins are key. And they are key for building adoption through a multitude of use cases that are going to help society benefit from this technology. And it all ebbs and flows back and forth into and out of Bitcoin as the digital gold, the store of value that everybody knows and loves. And we don't need a bunch of meme tokens running on some layer 2 on Bitcoin to enhance it. Let's leave it the hell alone. Let's leave it to do what it does best without any problems in all these years. How about we not try to fix what ain't broke? We've got 20,000 other shit coins that we need to deal with in the meantime. So until next time, guys, crow your coins. I love each and every one of you. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. I never do. I don't care if you're liberal or independent or whatever. But it really is difficult to not look and just see with my own eyes everything that's going on and connect those dots. And whatever side is responsible for the dots that I'm connecting, it is what it is, because the pendulum goes back and forth every so many years. Right now, we're all scared to death of the left, and tomorrow we'll all be scared to death of the right. And it's going to keep going back and forth. And the only universal truth to all of it is each one of them are taking our freedoms one step at a fucking time. And until we actually rise up and we start unifying and we start talking about it and engaging each other in a loving, compassionate, understanding, and open-minded way, these controls and these reins on our lives are only going to continue to get tighter and tighter until we can no longer breathe. And we're going to be begging for air. And to get that air, we're going to have to comply, and we're going to have to do everything we are told. I hope we all as a people rise up and start really understanding what's happening. I truly do, because I'm scared to death for my children. And if anyone out there is watching and you feel the same, let me know in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Crow your coins.